This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I am your host, Buddy Kunanan. Now, in this show, we talk about everything under the sun, and tonight's topic is once again about health and wellness. You know, folks, here at Philippines Uncut, we believe in exploring alternative medicine, as we believe that there are many modalities out there, perhaps not offered by Western scientific medicine, that can address various symptoms and illnesses that we all face these days. And last week, we had a special on intravenous laser therapy. Tonight, the discussion continues, and we are talking about naturopathy, which I believe is at the very heart of what alternative medicine is all about. And joining us to talk about naturopathy is Dr. Elizabeth Mallier, and she is a naturopathy advocate and practitioner.
Yeah, I'm a naturopathic doctor.
Okay.
So they call it ND for short.
ND.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the show, Doctora.
Thank you very much, Buddy. I'm so glad to be here and discuss naturopathy, which is like a new topic to plenty, but really it is the oldest way of healing.
Yes, and I have to admit that I'm also one of those who's heard of this term just lately.
Oh, really?
I mean, I really focus on alternative medicine, but I never really came across the term naturopathy.
Okay.
No, but before we talk about that, let's talk about your background. How did
me.
you, I mean, how did you get involved in this? Or, I mean, what was your training? What was your academic background?
Basically, I started going natural by being vegetarian years ago. And it was prompted by the fact that I'm into this higher consciousness thing, and if you eat meat, you basically cannot meditate properly, or go into the deeper realms of meditation. Okay. So they said I should go vegetarian. Then I shifted into vegetarianism overnight, and with that, then I went into a business that was becoming vegetarian. Went into different places to learn all of the new things about. They call it New Age.
Okay.
Yeah, and I met a manufacturer of a perfect line of vitamins, and I brought it to the country and started selling it here, made it into a business. And people kept on asking, what will you do for this? What will you do for this? I said, I don't know. Might as well study. So that started the career on health.
How long ago was this when you made this, this career shift? Let's put that
1980.
Okay, so you've been in this field a long time already.
Yeah, and before that, before the field of selling vitamins, which was 1980, it was really on really healthy living.
And you've been a vegetarian since the 80s?
No, I really eat fish now, every now and then. Right. And I've learned that you basically eat what's placed in front of you, don't be a picky eater and be a a guest who's not welcome, you know, because you're choosing and demanding a certain kind of food. So I have also learned that whatever food is in front of you maybe is what is meant for you to eat.
Yes,
so what
yes.
you do is you bless it and change its energy, so it's going to become perfect for your body.
Okay, but basically you wean yourself off meat,
Yeah.
really fish and vegetables. Now,
Yes.
interesting that you said you gave up meat just overnight.
Just
very quickly.
overnight.
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey, and it was, and had so many side effects.
Withdrawal symptoms maybe?
Yes. No, detox symptoms.
Okay.
You see, I just did the change without detoxing, so the body kept on throwing out all of the toxins, and then there was a lot of well, of course, foul smell, foul breath, foul, you know, because the body was throwing it all out, and so all of the openings of the body were
Yeah.
doing their work properly now.
Interesting. So before, so you recommend before someone goes vegetarian, it has to be a gradual process.
Yes, plus they will, unless they have a firm belief, they'll always go back to the old habits.
Interesting.
I like to say something though,
Sure.
not everybody can be a vegetarian, because if you're like what we call a protein type in terms of your metabolism, you would always look for more protein.
But what about those people who say they get protein from beans, from tofu and all that stuff?
You can have that. My son is pure vegetarian since birth.
Yeah, okay.
And you really
Wow.
yes, since birth. Pure
That's hard, eh?
up to now, yeah.
And how do you bring up a child on
Sometimes
a
it's a
strictly
bit
vegetarian
hard.
diet? No, for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he knows what to do now. But when he was younger, of course, it was, well, it was also my diet, so it was easy for us.
But in school, how do you get them prepared? I mean, it must be difficult for them to
They eat ahead, and
Yeah.
they bring their baon, and even in parties, he eats ahead. Or
Okay.
now there's so many vegetarian
Yeah,
restaurants,
yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Very interesting, very interesting. Now, let's talk about naturopathy.
Okay.
Let's define it. What is naturopathy?
Naturopathy basically is a new way of health. Not really new. Let's put it
You
this
said
way.
the traditional, like the
It's the
traditional.
the original way of
Yeah,
healing,
yeah.
where naturopathic doctors look into a person and treat them as a whole being. So the body, mind, and the spirit. We look at the cause. So the cause is not, as you said, not the Band-Aid thing, no?
Yes,
so
okay,
we
that's
go
very
to the-
nice. I mean, I think the video we showed earlier,
Yes.
just an example they used was, you know, if you have a problem with your computer and
Yeah, I
then
don't know.
someone puts a Band-Aid and that's
it won't work,
right?
yeah. So you have to go to the cause.
Yes.
And naturopathic doctors know the cause. Because we just basically have one, you know, pare-parehas lang tayo.
Yeah.
Same cells, same amount of water in the body, same protein and whatever. So in naturopathy, there are only two main causes of ailments.
Okay.
The main cause is toxemia, and toxemia is caused by an overload of something or a deficiency of something.
Okay.
That's it.
Toxemia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toxemia.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
Sounds like toxic. Is there, I mean,
Yes.
there is a relation, toxemia, toxicity.
Yeah,
There is,
but
no?
it's more than that. It's when the body is not in perfect condition.
Okay.
So we have what we call our biological terrain, which is the water in our body.
Okay.
If the water in our body is toxic, then you get sick. And in the Western world, if it is in the liver, it's a liver ailment, no?
Yes,
But
yes.
it's the whole body that's affected, because that water is not just in the liver; it circulates.
For sure, for sure. I
That's
mean,
wh-
it's all interconnected. All the organs are
Yes,
interconnected, right?
that's why you cannot have the Band-Aid.
And that's the thing that I really have against Western medicine. I mean, they're good with a lot of things, but as a layperson and having looked at this issue many times over,
Yeah.
it looks like their approach is really I mean, they treat the symptoms.
It's really symptomatic, yes.
Symptomatic,
It's
no?
symptomatic,
They don't
yes.
go to the cause. They
No.
don't go to the root of what's causing
No.
this. Yeah.
That is allopathic medicine or Western medicine. Oh, they're good. They have a reason for their being, and
For
that
sure.
is basically when you have an emergency.
Trauma.
Yes,
When
trauma,
trauma cases and things like
fire,
that.
you know, heart attack. You
Yeah.
know, you need the allopathic Western doctors, because you can't use herbs for those, you know, for immediate response. No,
for
it
sure,
cannot be.
for sure.
So, my belief is you have to know both and use both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned toxemia as one of the causes for illness. What is the second cause?
As a main, it's only
The
one.
main, toxemia. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
How bad is it? How bad is toxemia? I mean, is
Not-
it stress related? Is it
it's
environment, brought on by the environment? by what you
Toxemia
eat?
is a state when your body, when your biological terrain, the water in your body, which is 70% of your body, is not in perfect condition, it can be caused by many, many things.
Such as?
Stress, parasites, it's either, okay, we divide it into two. Overload of things, overload of parasites, overload of protein, overload of carbohydrates, overload of sugar, overload of anything.
Anything in excess is bad.
In excess.
Okay.
And then the other side is deficiency. If you have no vitamin C, you don't have this mineral, you have no calcium, just two. Are you overloaded or are you deficient?
Doctor, we seem to observe these days that so many people are sick. I mean,
Yes.
in increasing numbers. I'm not talking
Yes.
about a myriad kinds of diseases,
Yeah.
especially cancer.
Yeah.
We have so many people now. We hear of so many people with cancer, whereas maybe 3 decades ago, 4 decades ago, cancer was something that you just heard someone got.
Yeah.
Now it actually touches the lives of,
Yes,
of all of us.
Yeah, 20.
What is causing
80%.
this? Is it
Well,
our lifestyles have
Yes,
changed?
basically it's the lifestyle. If you would just look at your parents, they ate puto. There was no Coca-Cola during that time. We had buko juice. It was really brown sugar. Another thing is we didn't have this vegetable oil. If you really look, we had I don't know if you went through this. We had the mantika that they buy in blocks. You didn't go
It's
through
lard,
that.
no?
Yeah, that's lard, and that's
Isn't it bad?
healthy.
Isn't it bad,
No,
lard?
that's healthier than your vegetable oils, but it's a
Okay.
whole thing. And it's basically the diet. And then you have now, they don't go out and play in the sun anymore. They all have their iPods,
Yes,
So we
yes.
used to play tumbang bato
In the
and
streets,
patintero
sure,
in the
and-
streets. We
yeah.
made our own toys. Now no more. It's
Yeah.
all high-tech, and it's all high-tech sickness too.
And it's also caused by, I keep hearing about electromagnetic radiation.
We call that geopathic stress.
Yes.
Stress from the outside of the body, like
Yes.
your cell phones, and also from the
Internet, Wi-Fi.
and also
causes-
the energy of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the illnesses that naturopathy is effective in addressing.
It's basically all.
Really?
Because there's only one body.
Yeah.
A disease is just a name. It's just a name. And the names of diseases are really belong to the allopathic world, belong to Western medicine. Naturopathy, when you go to a naturopath, he'll say, oh, let's strengthen your respiratory system. He's not just going to say the heart, because it's the whole system that needs help.
Yes.
Your heart is not independent of the arteries or the veins. So it's the whole system. So we really don't name diseases, although it's really just so close together. When a person comes to you, he already comes with an identified disease.
Yes.
So, but if you go to a real naturopath, he will always know that what he has to do is to clean your body. We call detoxification. And then after that, take care of your mind. What is causing your stress? What are you thinking of? What are your emotions? Then what do you eat? How do you sleep? Do you go under the sun? Do you drink enough water?
Really a holistic
It
approach
is a
to
holistic
healing.
approach, yes.
Yes. Now, are you a practicing naturopath? Do you still have a practice now? Do you treat people? Do you have patients?
No, I don't. I closed my clinic a few years ago. I'm focused on teaching what's between my ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spreading this
Yeah.
awareness.
But I have trained enough medical doctors as naturopaths. So if somebody calls me, I give them names of people whom I know they would be treated both Western if needed and natural if needed.
Interesting that you say that you have trained many Western, many
Medical
medical
doctors,
doctors.
yes.
And by that, I assume you mean Western medical
Yes,
doctors.
yes,
Now,
yes.
what is the response of the medical, in your experience, the response of the medical community
Well,
to your practice?
the ones who went and humbled themselves and trained under me
Okay.
are basically the ones who are open-minded. They have realized that drugs do not cure all, or sometimes do not even heal. It's like pachi-pachi, as you said, Band-Aid, no?
It's the body that heals itself,
Yes,
right?
that's
Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yes,
It's
the body that heals itself.
Mm.
And it's very simple. You look at, if you have a wound, even if you put an antibiotic or merthiolate, those two are not going to close the wound. What will close the wound?
Your
own cells.
Your own cells.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that's simple. And I always give that as an example. And they said, yeah, totoo yun. O, di yun nga pala eh. Di, palakasan mo yung sarili mo para magkaroon ka ng mas lalakas na cells. Yeah.
Do you believe in antibiotics?
Oh, yeah, when needed. Yeah, in emergencies, you need it. But we have natural antibiotics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, for you, it's really a matter of complementing each other. You know,
Yes.
your practice and Western
Yeah, when it's
medicine.
needed, whatever is needed by the patient, that is least harm. You see, as a naturopath, you have to give the least harm. Do no
Yes.
harm is one of the precepts.
That was one of the six,
Yes,
or you
one
said
of
the
the six.
seven,
There are seven, really.
basics
Yeah.
of
The seventh
naturopathy.
is establish health and wellness.
What about cancer? Is I mean, in your experience, have you been successful in helping people with cancer?
Very
Getting
much
over it,
so.
healing themselves?
Yeah,
Really?
that's really no problem.
I like your
this.
optimism.
It's like this,
We
you
should have
see.
people like you more on the show more often.
Okay.
Go.
Each person has what we call a constitution, a body constitution. Are you born strong or genetically weak? And we see that through the eyes with iridology. And the moment we see a person and you look into the eye, we already know, oh, this person has a strong constitution. Kaya niyang gumaling. No? So that person, madaling gumaling yan. On the other hand, you see those persons who maulan na lang, may sakit na.
Yes.
We see that in an instant also. So these kinds of person, we also then help them in a different way.
Yes.
So whichever way, we know if a person can still handle it if they have cancer. If they have cancer and they're what we call the constitution that's genetically weak,
Yeah.
medyo baka wala ng chance yun. Pero pag yung genetically strong, you can let them,
Just by looking at someone's eyes.
yeah, in an instant.
Iridology. Iridology.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this something recognized by Western medicine, iridology?
In Europe, yes. It started in Europe. In the States, yeah, it's you know, naturopathy and natural healing now are
Interesting.
basically, what do you call this, being accepted because they are seeing the right word is inadequacy of just drugs.
Yes, and I have to agree with you there. I think Western medicine has, pardon me for saying, has failed in many ways.
Yes,
To
yes.
address you know,
Yes.
what's happening now. I mean, so many
Yes.
people are
Yes.
dying of so many illnesses, right? And you know, it's
Yeah.
another way has to be found, and that's why on this show we really advocate this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's it is like they call it alternative, but in real truth, it is the only way to heal.
Very nice. I like that. I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, before we break for our second segment, let's talk about PINS. What is PINS?
Oh, PIN
I
starts
can
for
see it on your shirt. PINS.
Yeah, Philippine Institute of Naturopathic Sciences. So we are an institute that teaches students who want to be naturopaths, or right now the government has approved naturopathy as a modality in healing, and PINS is the first institute that has been approved to teach this.
Okay, and how are you involved in PINS?
I own it.
Oh, okay, this is your
This is
your
my
outfit.
baby, okay? And I teach in PINS. I basically am the main teacher in PINS because I'm the naturopath.
And what has been the reception of the public to this new initiative?
I
PINS?
have
Do you have a lot of
been-
students?
Yeah, I have been teaching since 1988. It was just iridology and a few of nutrition, but since the approval of the DOH and PTAC, I now teach the whole gamut to be a naturopath.
Is it okay? When you diagnose, you really principally use iridology.
We don't diagnose,
Okay,
because
so-
the word diagnose is for the allopathic word.
I'm sorry.
We analyze or
Analyze,
we assess.
assess, okay.
And then, yeah, we use different ways. You can use the eyes, the iris, the colored portion of the eye. We use the sclera. The iris is for your genetic predisposition. Anong minana mo? The
Interesting.
sclera is your current stress. And then we look at the face, the tongue. They can look at the pulse, but I basically use the eyes.
So very much like Chinese medicine, like
Yeah,
traditional
that's
Chinese
traditional
medicine.
medicine, yes.
Did iridology come from
No.
traditional Chinese medicine?
No.
No.
No, TCM doesn't really use the eyes. It's the Germans. It came from Germany.
Interesting. Interesting that the country that has major powerhouses of pharmaceutical companies actually gave rise to
Yes.
this iridology as well.
Yeah,
Very
but you know the most advanced in iridology is Russia.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about that. In fact,
Yeah.
that intravenous laser therapy I mentioned earlier
Russian.
is a Russian technology. And the thing I like about Russia is because for a long time, you correct me if I'm wrong, they were driven not by profits, but by finding out what can really help, you know, the Russian people, their
Yeah.
people. It wasn't profit-driven, it wasn't corporate-driven.
Yes, it was really for health.
It was really used for
Yeah,
health.
like iridology is taught in their medical schools. You
Very
see?
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, hold that thought, Doctora, because we have to pause for a break.
Okay.
Guys, more of naturopathy and juicing when Philippines Uncut returns.